Good morning, everybody. I'm Captain Tommy Scoble, and you were on the lifeboat. I'll tell you what, it's not been a good morning. I'm lying. Hey, good to see you all, but I'm here. We're a little late, but it's been a tough morning. This didn't want to work again. This is one of those situations where every once in a while, trying to get the launch key, so to speak. What enables this thing to actually go doesn't always work the way that it's supposed to. It took me about 4 or 5 times to get this thing all the way set up. Anyway, but here we are. It's Saturday morning, people, and today we're going to be talking about something that I've talked about before on the boat, but if you're new here, you may not have heard. This is a concept. This is one of the things that trips up human beings, really difficult in sobriety. And sadly, a lot of times what happens is, as human beings, in theory, we're not supposed to be holding on to things that come through. I want you to think about taking something that is handed to you, right? Grabbing it, passing it to the person next to you, right? And then grabbing the next one, grabbing it, and then handing it off, right? Because the idea is, in theory, that's how we should be designed as human beings, right? We're a streaming service. That's what we are. We're not supposed to be recording. We're supposed to be streaming. You understand? What's supposed to be happening is, as everything is zipping by, right? We're picking it up, we're looking at it, we're passing it on. We're picking it up, we're looking at it, we're passing it on, right? We're checking it out, we're passing it on. But at no point are we going, what do we got here? I'm going to hold this, right? I'm going to hold that, and we're going to put that away for later, right? We're going to record this. The idea, people, is we're not supposed to be recording. We're not supposed to be grabbing snippets of this life and holding on to it forever. And it ends up screwing us up. I've used this example before on the lifeboat. And the last time I did, somebody actually reached out to me and said, "Oh, you poor guy. This had to have been a really tough situation on you, and I'm so sorry that this hurt." This situation didn't happen. I've used this illustration, I can't tell you how many times on the lifeboat. This never happened to me, okay? So you can feel bad for me on this one, but it didn't happen to me. It's just an example, okay? But this is an example that illustrates exactly what it is that I'm talking about. We're supposed to just touch life and have life touch us and keep going. We're not supposed to be gripping onto things with both hands as they go by. So I'm driving down the road, right? A person is driving down the road, and coming in the opposite direction, they see a white Ford Taurus. And behind the wheel of the white Ford Taurus is a blonde girl, right? And in the passenger seat is a guy that is with her, and she is leaning over and she's putting a lip lock on the guy in the passenger seat. The two of them are kissing. They drive by the boyfriend, right? The last time I told the story, they drove by me, right? So I'm driving by and I see the car and I see the blonde girl and I see her leaning over and kissing somebody. And the crazy thing is, my girl has a white Ford Taurus, right? And I look at this car and I go, damn, that looked like our car. Like, it really did. That looked like our car. Now, it can't be, because my girl currently should be in court, right? She has she should be working, or she should be doing whatever, but can't be your wife, can't be your girlfriend. You know where she is. That's not her, but damn, it looked like her, didn't it? It even had on that thing that, that jacket that's just kind of unique, that she wears with the whole blue thing or whatever, right? But this person sees that, and the person goes back to work and goes, man. And their friend says, "Hey, what's going on? Tommy, you look bummed out." On the way coming back from lunch, man, I passed a car that looked so much like it was my wife's car, and only she was kissing a dude. And the guy at work goes, "Oh, man, ask her what the hell's going on with that." And you say, "No, it's not her, man. It can't be her," right? Because first of all, she's at work. That couldn't have been her. Hey, Cherry from Cheshire, UK. I was just watching an episode of The Lifeboat about boundaries. It was really useful. Thank you. Oh, that's awesome. So glad to hear that, Sherry. And we're glad that you're here on the boat. We really are. So now this person is sitting at work and they're just getting angry, right? And they're just getting mad. You know what, man? That is our car. That is our car. I guarantee you that was my old lady sitting in the driver's seat of that car. So who the hell was she kissing? And you just start going through all this in your head. And you're going back and forth between the who the hell is she kissing and the, man, that wasn't her. What am I doing? No, that's not her. It couldn't have been her. First of all, it's like 7 or 8 miles from where her work is. You know, she'd have been way out of place. No, that doesn't make any sense. That's not her. And you keep playing this head game with yourself. And then what do? You go home. Hey, honey, how was your day? Not bad. Not bad. How was yours? She says it was pretty good. Yeah, did you do anything today? Did you go anywhere, or were you stuck at work all alone all day? It was one of those days. No, honey, I was stuck at work. Never even got out. The car never left. Nothing. Oh, really? Bummer. So all just stuck up there at work all day, right? Never got out. Never did nothing. Huh? No, it sucks. Kind of a bummer. And how was your day, honey? Oh, no, my day was fine. My day was just great. But it wasn't really, was it? Because deep down, you're a little bummed out about your day. Deep down, you're thinking to yourself, I think my wife might have been cheating. But you don't say a word. Why not? Well, because you're not 100% sure, and you don't want to accuse your wife of something that she didn't do. How tough would it have been to say, hey, babe, you want to hear something messed up? No, I'll tell you, this is crazy. I mean, this is stupid. But right around lunch, I got in my car and I was driving, and I was going up by where the tire place used to be. And I saw a white Taurus, looked just like ours, coming in the opposite direction. And there was a girl driving, had long blonde hair. It could have been you, man. It could have been you. You didn't leave at all today, huh? For any reason? No, honey, I never left. Okay. All right, this is going to sound so dumb, but I saw you kissing a guy, or I saw a woman that looked exactly like you kissing a guy, and I know it's not you. I do. I know it's not you, but it messed with my head because I'm a drug addict in a head case, and it just messed me up. But for that split second, maybe even a minute or two afterwards, it just played with my head. And even though I know it wasn't you, throughout the day, it did it a couple of more times where that was all I could think about, and I'm just telling you, babe, because I love you, and I don't want to feel like there's a part of me that didn't trust you or anything like that, because it was not that kind of a situation. A little communication, right? But that's not what happens. Instead, the guy goes on his merry way. How was your day? My day was fine. How was yours? It was okay. Not a bad day at work. Hal's a bit of a jerk, blah, blah, blah. But this keeps going on. And on the bright side, this gentleman and this woman, they don't stay married anyway. It's not, what difference does it make, right? No reason to bring this up because they don't even stay married. Nice squirrel. She just jumped right into a right hook. I think I accidentally punched the cat. I was waving my arms while she was jumping up. There you go. You can bite my thumb. Don't bite the headphones. There you go. Chew on that. You like that? You mean cat. So they get a divorce. No big deal, right? What difference does it make? Now, this guy moves. He doesn't even live in that part of town anymore. He doesn't even live in that state, right? He moves. Life is good. Where does he move to? He moves to Florida, right? Doing that retirement thing, semi-retirement thing. And he's living down in Florida. He's got a nice house. He's got a pool in the backyard. And he decides he's going to go to the mall, right? And he gets in the car. He starts driving, and he sees a 1995 white Ford Taurus. And it's coming toward him, right? And he's driving, and they're heading directly toward one another. And as the cars pass each other, well, that person's right back where they were in 1996. Yeah, he's not married to that one anymore, but he's pissed because now he's thinking to himself, you know what? I guarantee you that was her. She turned out to be a lowlife anyway. Man, I guarantee you that was her. And she was getting it on with some dude cheating on me. That's exactly what I was looking at. And I should have said something then, man. And I'll tell you something. Since 1996, that memory, driving by that car, has been wrecking this guy. Consciously and subconsciously since 1996, this has been a part of his life. Why? Because he didn't grab that and pass it on. He didn't grab that, right? It wasn't a matter of taking the images that are going by like a streaming service. No, he grabbed onto one. He grabbed onto one and he pulled it in. And instead of doing the right thing, right, which was putting it to death, how? Through communication, having a conversation with his significant other that sounded like, hey, I saw something that made me uncomfortable. And the last thing in the world I would want to do is have you think anything, that I don't trust you or whatever. But it's pretty important that we have this conversation because it just plain messed with my head, right? That conversation needed to happen in 1996. And if it didn't, then for a long period of time, we're going to have some issues because for this individual, that's going to be unresolved crap from their life, right? And I don't think you understand how heavy duty unresolved crap can be. And you say, Tommy, it probably wasn't even her. No, it probably wasn't. But for 30 years, right? For 30 years, 28 years, whatever the case may be, this has been destroying that person's life. And if they didn't get divorced, that person's relationship, right? We have these things that happen to us every day, whether you realize it or not. We have these little things that snap, and then all of a sudden, for the rest of eternity, each time this thing comes up, it gets back in and it starts to burrow and it starts to fester, and it just starts to be one of those things that literally can drive the person crazy. Good morning, Kathy. People, if you've not been over, I know squirrels driving me nuts this morning. If you have not been over to Kathy's channel and you like music, get over to Kathy's channel. She is a gifted musician. One of about, I don't know, we're closing in on, we could probably make a really decent band at this point. We have a lot of very talented musicians on the lifeboat, and more join every single day. But Kath is Kathy's professionally trained. She is and she plays a ton of different instruments. She sits down on a piano and busts out a beautiful tune there. She's just really gifted. I'm so proud of everybody on the lifeboat. I really am, man. I brag about the audience of this like somehow I created it, and I'll take it. But regardless of whether or not that is the case, this doesn't have to be something that's hardwired to relationships or anything else. Let's take this morning, right? Guy gets up 4 a.m. getting ready to do a show on his channel. And he's got the thumbnail all put together and all of these different things. And he goes to get it squared. And when he comes in here, this thing says, basically it shoots down the request, but tells you that you can try again later. So you try again later. And it says the exact same thing. And every time you go to upload it, it says, doesn't work right now, but you can try again. Like it gives you the option. This isn't going to work right now, but you can try again. If you got all the time to kill, if you're not in a hurry, you can try again. And this goes on for 30 minutes. Finally, one of the times that he clicks it through, it actually does click. And all of a sudden, here we are, right? We're doing a lifeboat. What if I could carry that with me for the rest of the day, though? The frustration of me trying to put this thing together, say 25 or 30 times, because it literally was one click after another trying to get this thing put together 25 or 30 times. And that can destroy an entire day. Why? Because we record stuff. We allow stupid little things to bother us and taint entire days. And if we don't deal with frustration, just like any other emotion, any of these emotions, right? Because when we drove by the white car, what did we feel? Well, we felt betrayal and we felt anger and we felt, like we had been cheated and all of these emotions. Of course, my, the poor driver of this Ford Taurus did nothing wrong, right? We don't know this is her. Maybe she's at work, right? Maybe she's at the hospital, right? Doing her nursing gig or whatever this girl does for a living. Maybe she's not done a damn thing. But it doesn't stop it from becoming something that can destroy us. And these are the things that you got to get a handle on. This is why we've done about a 4-part series where we have been describing the brain and how our memory system works, how we program ourselves, so that we don't make the same mistakes over and over and over again. We are designed as a creature to learn from mistakes and not make them a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth time. So when something happens to us, the bigger a mistake it is, the more imprinted on us that we will not do this again. And we've been talking a lot about this. When you make a very good sized error, right? When you make a very good sized error in your life, or you've got all of these other kind of events that can take a snapshot of something and sear it into your memory for the rest of your life. But all of these things are tied to emotion. So let's keep it real and just sort of break it down. As a child, those emotions can be anything because we are very, very emotional little creatures. As we get older, there's nothing that's brand new under the sun. We've been there and we've done that, right? So that's not going to imprint on you because you're not doing it for the first time. You've been doing this your entire life. So unless there's something very unique about what's about to happen, then chances are it is not going to imprint on your memory in a way that, the first time you go to Disney does, or the first time you jump out of an airplane, or the first time you do something that's epic as a human. They really imprint on you. Especially that's why as a child, the memories that we have are so vivid, is because everything was new. This was all brand new. Everything we did was like, oh, wow, holy crap, look at that. I've never seen anything like that before, because you haven't. And it imprints on your mind, which is why when we look back now, we have these incredible memories of when we were a kid, but we can't seem to remember what we had for lunch. Well, that's because what you had for lunch has no significance. So normally these incredible memories that really get seared into the old gray matter are tied to trauma or victory or love, but there's some massive emotion that's tied there, right? Well, as we get older, we don't do anything new. There's no novelty. So we end up having all of the memories that really seem to be burned into our brain, the kind that can do damage, right? If you haven't dealt with these particular, the emotions that are tied to these memories, if you haven't dealt with them or you haven't coped and gotten through all of that, then they can absolutely destroy you. But what do we have in our adult life that sears into us like that? Well, let's keep it real, right? What is it? It's love, it's hate, it's sex. There's not a lot else. You see, we've done everything else, right? Everything has been done. Nothing is for the first time, but you get these emotions like you're really in love with somebody. Well, that emotion is going to, your brain is now thinking to yourself, okay, Tommy is messing up with this blonde girl. Let's make this hurt. Maybe he won't do it for a 15th time, right? Maybe if this one stings enough, he won't remarry. Maybe if we make this one painful enough, he won't even ask another girl out, right? Because you're going to have sex, love, and hate. And that's the cycle of what is going to be seared into your adult brain. Those are the memories that are going to be sealed in. The novelty has worn off, people. We're adults. We are adults. But this is a fascinating study, this brain thing, and how we get caught in these loops. We latch onto something. There are people out there right now, make no mistake, there are people out there right now who are sitting across the breakfast table from a significant other that for the last 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, whatever, they have thought, the person sitting across from me is a cheater. I don't trust them. I don't love them. I can't believe we are still together. I know he is with so-and-so. It's all but a guarantee. I saw the two of them together. Right? I went to lunch that time at the restaurant and I saw the two of them together at the bar. I didn't go up and say anything, but I'm 93 or 94% sure that I saw them there. Well, over time, they're going to reinforce that and it's going to become 100% sure. But instead of confronting her husband, she just quietly hates him or has determined that maybe that's as good as the marriage was ever going to be. And she's going to stay around for the kids. But you know what? She just kind of becomes a little bit cold and a little bit distant, and for the sake of the kids, if he gives her a kiss goodnight, she takes it. But maybe it wasn't him at the bar. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe the person you saw when you were in the restaurant wasn't your husband. I don't know. But because we passed up the opportunity to ask that question, if you ask it now, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Cherry, welcome. You look fantastic in green. Look at that. I give her a good welcome. Now she has decided. She is going to become ensign. Cherry. I like it. And you look good in green. You really do. One moment. I remember seeing my ex-girlfriend at a bar once. She got 5 guys to jump me. That was the first time my head was stomped on. And I would imagine that the memories of that night, Lemmy, are seared into your brain. Unless you went unconscious and can't remember anything, then chances are that is a very, very vivid memory, because the amount of emotion that has to be tied to that, especially knowing that it was the significant other that set it up. Just the fact that the pain and everything else was involved is probably got it seared into your brain anyway. Fights are usually things we remember really, really well, right? We have adrenaline, we have drama, we have pain, we have, right, fear, all of those things that are happening to us at the same time. Physical exertion, that is a recipe for literally imprinting on your brain. Fights are one of those things that, we remember them in slow motion, don't we? Wants to say something, says Miss V. Squirrel wants to say, no, what Squirrel wants to do is just be angry and cause problems. You know what, Christy? I feel the same way. Getting jumped by one guy sucks. Getting jumped by 5 is definitely a pretty rough situation. And unlike movies, a guy never beats up 5 guys. That doesn't happen anywhere in the real world. A guy doesn't even beat up 2 guys, right? That happens in movies. When 2 guys fight one person, the one person loses without really a miracle or just, a serious mismatch, where you got a couple of guys that have never fought. It's just not like the movies. And if you get 5 guys that jump you, you're in deep, deep trouble. Really, really deep trouble. Isolation be gone. Well, there's a battle cry. God bless you. Huh? God bless you. You see that, people? Isolation be gone. That is good stuff right there. That really is. That's what I'm talking about. The opposite of addiction is connection. The more we connect, the better off we're going to be. So don't, if we begin grabbing onto everything, I want you to hold this in your hand just long enough to pass it. I want you to take everything that's going by during the day and process it. You say, well, sometimes that's easier said than done, Tommy. No, it's not. It's always the exact same thing. It is always the exact same thing. Right? That's it. Doesn't change. So you drive by. There goes the white Taurus. And the car goes by and you see what you are pretty sure is your wife in the passenger seat of that car. And you drive by and you go, no, that's stupid. That's not her. I don't even know why I was thinking that. That's just stupid, right? Number 1, she's at work. Number 2, she would never cheat on me. That's just the dumbest thing in the whole world. I'm embarrassed that I even thought that for a moment. But then you go to work and you start thinking about it again. Holy crap, though. It really did look like her. And it was about 5 minutes after 12, right? Well, she could have got from where she was at work to where I was. It fits the timeline. It's close enough to where she worked. But all of a sudden, you really start to go wrestling through this thing, don't you? So what should have happened? What should have happened is when our fictitious boyfriend got home, that is exactly what they mean by living in the moment. Yeah, Peggy, that is exactly what we're talking about. And it's a perfect way to think of it. It's a perfect way to say it. It is living in the moment. It is not dragging around the past or just as bad the future. And you say, you drag around the future. You bet you do. Right? Your boss says to you this, Peggy, listen, we've got a project coming up in 4 months, right? And we're going to be sending 3 or 4 people from here to go work at one of the other locations and probably promote those people, but we're going to be letting people know in the next couple of weeks if that's going to be them. And you just go into full-on stress mode, right? Full-on stress mode. And the crazy thing is that you can stay in that heightened state of anxiety for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We do this to ourselves and it doesn't stop. We get trapped in this cycle of repeating the same things over and over and over again. So you go home and your significant other says, "How was work today?" It wasn't bad till lunch. I had something that happened at lunch today that absolutely disturbed the hell out of me. And I'll tell you something. I'm kind of a head case, right? But we've established that. You know who I am, and you know what my history and all that. So I saw a white Taurus go by me today. And I was right near the 7-Eleven, right on 5th Street as we were driving. And this Taurus went by. It looked just like ours. And your significant other is just stabbing salad and says, "Oh, yeah? And what made you think of that?" Right? So you saw a Taurus like ours. Yeah, and there was a girl in there that looked exactly like you. "Oh, did you think you saw me today?" You know what? Honestly, I didn't think I saw you today. But I don't want this thing parking in the back of my head because it looked so much like you that it almost had me questioning it. And it gets worse because the girl had her tongue 3 inches down a guy's throat who was sitting in the passenger seat. And then your wife leans over and grabs your hand and goes, "Honey, that wasn't me, right?" And you say, "No, I know it wasn't. Of course it wasn't. And I'm not accusing you of it. It just disturbed the hell out of me. And I don't want it to be unresolved crap that I just stick away in my brain. So I hope you're not offended." And she says, "No, of course I'm not offended. But you know what's really funny?" And you say, "What? What's really funny?" The whole office went to lunch today. They catered the whole thing and had it done. So I was at, right, Johnny's restaurant at that time. I was there for almost 2 hours with an entire group of people. And what's better is I didn't even drive, right? I carpooled over there. So absolutely couldn't have been me. And you know what? Think of how that changes the rest of that man's life. If he goes, "Oh my God, the craziest thing is I knew that today was the day you guys were all going to that lunch thing. I knew that. If I had thought about that," but he didn't. And he doesn't talk about it. He doesn't confront her. He doesn't bring it up. And instead, he spends the next 6 years with this thing just gnawing at him. And it doesn't gnaw at him every day. Sometimes he doesn't think about it for a week or two. And then he wonders. Now, is that what causes his divorce? Who knows, right? Who knows? Maybe there was something else that caused his divorce. Maybe she started the divorce. Who knows? But whatever the case may be, he gets over it. And our fictitious Tommy guy goes and marries again. And this time he gets a better model, and the two of them get along perfectly. And everyone always says how the two of them seem perfectly matched. Everything is always groovy. So they decide they're going to take a road trip, and they load up the car and they're out driving, and it's going to be a great day. They're just going to enjoy their time together. And right before they get on the freeway, they pass a white Ford Taurus with a blonde girl driving. And there's a guy in the passenger seat. And in a split second, all the anger, all the jealousy, all the pain, all the hurt is right back like the day it happened. And you're thinking, what difference does it make? He's not even sitting next to the same girl, right? That girl's gone. They're divorced. This means nothing. This is the girl he's with. So it should have, no. It doesn't work like that at all. It doesn't work like that at all. You're gonna go right back through the litany of emotions that you felt that day. Why? Because you didn't freaking deal with it the first time. If we go, "Ooh, I'm putting this away for later," you're gonna deal with it later. Don't think that that just means you can throw it in a big box. You're going to deal with it later. I told my husband about something that was bothering me. Unlike my ex, he was very kind and reassuring. It was unusual for me. There are wonderful people out there, and you deserve to find them. I like it. There are people out there that are loving and kind, and you know what? And everyone should have somebody in their life. So be open to the experience, right? Be open to the experience. Hello, Seagull Rock Squawk. Hold on. So unresolved crap can absolutely destroy your life, right? So how do you learn to not hold on to things? Insignificant things, important things, whatever it is. How do you learn to not let those things bother you? How do you learn to live in the moment? I can give you a perfect example of how living in the moment changes your life, right? And this is a skill that is very, very difficult for most people to learn, and it is even more difficult for most people to implement. Most people have no intention of ever actually living this way. Why? Because it's hard. Because it's super hard, and it requires a complete paradigm shift in who you are as a human being. For real. You want to live in the moment and become that person. You are going to have to change almost everything about who you are. Why? Because we're just not freaking hardwired that way. We should be, but we're not. Right? And instead, what we do is we grab onto things and we hold on to them really, really tight. We make sure that as opposed to just passing things along and watching things go before our eyes, we let the smallest things derail us. And it always comes down to the exact same issue for every single person, right? When the time comes that something jams that, it's the white Ford Taurus. It's something that your significant other says, but you just didn't say anything about it. Like you came out and you said, honey, I'm ready to go whenever you are. Is that what you were going to wear? Why? What's wrong with what I've got on? Oh, no, nothing. I mean, it's fine. I was just wondering if that's what you were going to wear. Really? Because the way you said it made it sound like maybe you didn't think I was wearing the right stuff or whatever. You're sure? No. I was just asking if that is what you're. For the rest of the night, both of them are trashed. Right? That hiccup of conversation and both parties are trashed. Why? Because most people don't communicate. They don't. Hey, honey, is that what you're wearing? Do me a favor and run that by me. Are you upset with what I'm wearing? No, I'm not. I get the feeling you are. And I'm not going to this party with this weird emotion. So why don't you tell me what's up? Do you not like what I'm wearing? No, what you're wearing is fine. Then why did you ask if this is what I was wearing? Did you think maybe I was going to throw a tuxedo on shortly thereafter? Okay, I don't love the shirt. Can we just maybe get to that the next time? Instead, maybe next time you could say, oh, honey, I do not like that shirt. Please don't wear that shirt. Because I'm cool with that, right? I'll take the shirt off. Throw on another one. No issue. The way we communicate with the people we care about can trip us up massively. Massively. Now, I saw somebody, and it might have been Kelly Gerling. I didn't see who wrote it, but somebody wrote in big letters, journaling. If you don't think journaling is the key to this and everything else in life, I love it when somebody writes journaling because you know that everybody is actually starting to hone in and pay attention to it because this is the biggest thing in the world for us. It is. And you say, okay, that night you go home, you take out your pen and your paper and you write down, decent day at work. Hal was kind of a jerk. had a really weird thing happen today with a white Ford Taurus coming the other way. And I'd be damned if it wasn't, Elizabeth sitting behind the wheel. And sure looked like she leaned over to kiss a guy. And as you're writing this, I promise you, you will not talk about it with your girl a second time. You may have not called her during work or whatever, and you may have not brought it up at dinner, but you start journaling about this, and the journal is going to talk back to you and say you need to talk to Elizabeth about this, because this is the third day in a row you wrote about it. This is the third day in a row you have written about this. Obviously, this is something that is on your dome. Maybe you could go and sit down with your girl, have a conversation with her, and then we could start journaling about something else. Journaling will tell you what's bothering you. Journaling will tell you what's on your mind. It will tell you what you need to deal with. Tommy, I felt that way. What helped me was to keep asking myself why I felt that way until I got to the bottom of it. I found some deep-rooted things. Maybe that will help you too. Just a thought. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, people, that is what helps everyone out of this situation, is to sit down and to journal through these things. But any of the stupid stuff that we think, it's not even worth fighting about. I'll live with it. You know what? It might not be worth fighting about, but it's always worth talking about, right? Have you a video about journaling, or do you just go for it? Cherry, I'll tell you what, in and out of almost every video, we talk about journaling. So it's thick through all of them. But I'm going to do a show. It will probably be tomorrow mornings. But I am going to do a show, or maybe it will be a supplement and I'll do it as a third show. But so many people ask this question now that I need to do a show just on journaling. Hello, everyone. I got gifted a subscription last night and didn't know. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That probably would have been Snotface. I believe Snotface gifted about 5 last night. If I am not mistaken, I believe that is how that went down. Snotface is very, very generous with giving out memberships. One day she gave out so many, it made me hellaciously uncomfortable. I mean, it was dozens. I don't remember, but there was a lot of them. And then Full of Hope started to do the same thing. And between the two of them, I was like, goodness gracious. I think we probably doubled the size of the subscriber base and of the member base in one show. Well, I think I need to do a show just on journaling. And the sad thing is, you almost have to clickbait it and make it look like you're going to talk about something else, because people aren't going to watch a show about journaling. And it's probably going to be one of the most important ones that we do. Sadly, that's the truth. Because journaling is such a key part of everything that has to do with success at any level. But I will tell you this, since we just finished talking about this the other day, and it's an example that I give, but you can, anything like this. If you're sitting down and you're going, I don't know what to journal, here's just a quick broad brush stroke, because it's that important, okay? We tell people that we journal before we go to bed and we journal as soon as we get up in the morning. And for the exact same reason, right? We want to empty our head out for the next shift, right? So the night shift is going to empty out their head before they go to sleep. That way, when the dreaming happens, it's not going through unresolved BS crap that you could have written down in your journal. It's the subconscious that we want to work on, right? And truthfully, when you get home from work and you're angry because that girl Carol at work said this, and this about you, or you're angry about work because you got passed up for promotion or any of these things, but you go home and your husband says, how are you today? Fine. And then you just go and you eat, you don't talk about it, and you go to bed, right? That's not what your brain should be dealing with while it's asleep. Your brain should be dealing with subconscious issues, things that you're not able to deal with. So they have to be dealt with during the dream time, right? During nappy time, your brain starts dealing with it while you are dreaming. Basketball Jones, shut the front door. Good to see you, Basketball Jones. It's been a minute. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. So you're journaling morning and you're journaling at night, right? So as soon as you, and then for the same reason, you get up in the morning, all of the stuff that you were working out while you were sleeping in your subconscious, well, nobody punches a time clock. So you may have not finished up the dream that you were on, or maybe there was 2 unresolved things. So you sit down and you just dump whatever's in your head before you start your day. It just lets the new shift that's coming on not deal with anything from the previous shift, right? We do that by journaling. That's huge. And if you say, well, that's great, Tommy, but I sit down and I put pen to paper and I don't know what to write. When you come at night, what you're writing about is what happened during the day, right? And if it made you feel a specific way, you feel the need to talk about it. But you're trying to dump whatever was in your brain. Start with who, what, when, where. Yeah, there you go. Just the facts. If you're still trying to avoid the emotional, that'll do it right there. Peggy Dooley, great. And then what I always say, Cherry, is then do something like this. Then pick anything from your youth and start peeling the onion. You say, how does that work? Well, make me a list of all of your teachers, nicknames you had about them, things like that. This is going to get from first grade all the way through college or if you've got a postgraduate degree, whatever. This is going to get you to start thinking about things from your past. And that was what we call peeling the onion. It'll start getting you to think about and journal about stuff from the past. You can journal about every Christmas, right, that you can remember. You can journal about the best birthdays that you can remember. You can journal about every girlfriend or boyfriend that you ever had, right, starting back to 4th grade. I'm lucky I have a bad memory. I am not. I have a good memory. It does make you a survivor. It's exactly what it does. It makes you a survivor, not a victim, a survivor. Booger Brown. He had a booger on his mustache, and we nicknamed him that. Please tell me that you didn't just say that because I am sporting one now as we speak. See, now you got me all freaked out. Peggy Dooley says it will also save you a load on a shrink. And there's a lot of truth to that. It will save you a lot of money on a shrink. And as we joke around here, if you're writing and you can't write any further and you think to yourself, that's it, I don't even know what to write, ask yourself, how does that make you feel? And then you'll be ready to roll on to the next sentence. And it'll just be like you're at a psychiatrist, because they do like to ask people, well, how does that make you feel? Or counselors. It's kind of a running joke, but there's a lot of truth to the fact that they do like to ask that question. How does that make you feel? Yeah, well, how does that make you feel? I am waiting for trauma therapy, and the journaling sounds like a good way to put my millions of thought in order. Yeah, well, and I'll tell you something else. If you're waiting for trauma therapy, you are going to end up, journaling is going to be a huge part of that. Goosebumps 801 says, I'm usually not awake early enough for morning, but well, I guess you got lucky today. Peggy, I'm not giving you any shit for saying shit. I'm not. We do try to encourage people not to curse, but we're not giving anybody any crap about it. And it's the S word. What we're trying to do is not become one of those sobriety channels where every other word is an F-bomb, because it happens on a lot of channels. And for me, this doesn't have to be you. Everybody makes their own program. For me, when I can't control my tongue, it's a pretty good chance that I can't control my life. And if you talk to me and every other word out of my mouth is an F-bomb, I'm in the wrong direction. I'm in relapse. Doesn't mean I'm using, but I'm in relapse, right? And hopefully I get out of it before I actually get to the part of relapse where you use. Christy, it's not a bad question, right? How does that make you feel is actually a pretty legitimate question, especially for those of us, who suffer from this disease, because we struggle with that question. That's a question that we struggle with in every aspect of our life. How does that make you feel? We don't do well with feel, do we? Feelers are the things that got most of us using drugs in the first place. We're not comfortable with our feelings. We don't like how our feelings make us feel. And because of that, we go out of our way to turn them off. And we turn them off with the use of chemicals, right? sound familiar? I mean, that's pretty much how that works. Ann Winfrey says, love this channel. Thank you so much. And we love that you are here. Welcome to the Lifeboat. I don't know that I ever had a chance to welcome you. And I don't know that I saw anyone else have a chance to welcome you. I think that's the first time I've ever seen Ann Winfrey. But we are glad that you are here. And we're glad that you like the boat. We really are. It's a very, very special group of people. That is to be sure. We have been blessed with a very, very cool group of people, and it's an honor to be associated with them in any way, and to have the coolest seat in the house. And we are rapidly approaching 6,200 people here on the Lifeboat, folks. So it's been a pretty good week for the boat. Yet again, huge shout out to my brother Aaron over at Growing Up in Scientology, who has just literally sort of made it part of his mission to ensure that we just continue to grow. You know, honestly, it's fun to do collaborations together, and we get a lot of views. If you look at the videos that we do together, they tend to be some of the higher viewed videos in terms of content that Aaron's making. Nevertheless, it's a very kind thing to have a smaller channel on as often as he does with us, and I think at this point he really likes the mission. He likes what we're doing. Because it's so similar to what they're doing, right? We're trying to get people out of a destructive lifestyle that they know deep down is killing them, but the embarrassment of the fact that they allowed themselves to get into that in the first place keeps people from getting out. Sound familiar? For real. Sounds an awful lot like what we go through here, and that's it's one of the reasons I think that we do enjoy doing the number of collaborations that we do. But boy, it's fun watching the boat grow, and it is a huge shot in the arm whenever we have the opportunity to go over onto Growing Up in Scientology. It really, and it's bringing in great people. Look around, you know, all of the new folks that you see are all from there, and they come in with a different attitude. You can always tell when you're on a channel that has just a really kind of a solid following, because if somebody does a shout out and says you should really go by and sub the Lifeboat. I've done this on plenty of other with plenty of other content creators, and you get people who stop by and they hit the subscribe button, and they do it out of respect to whoever tells them to do that, right? Like in this case, AA. Out of respect to AA, people would come by and they would hit subscribe because, you know, that's how they feel. But with AA, the people don't just come by and hit subscribe. They come by, hit subscribe, and then watch videos. And you actually watch your video view count go up at the same rate that your subscriber count is going up, which is really unique. The other thing is that you can always tell when you have somebody that has built a really solid network of people, is that when they come over, they always tell you where they came from. And that didn't happen to me with every other show that I did collaborations with. But boy, it does with, like, Wages World was the same way. Those were the two that really jumped out as people that just said, hey, I'm over here from Wages World, or I'm over here from Growing Up in Scientology. And every person says, hey, Aaron sent me, which just shows, I think, a lot about the community that he's built. Let's see here. What was that name? Hey, Free Xenu Project. Good to see you. Dominica K. Hey, Tommy. Yep, I met you through Aaron. Love you both and appreciate what you're doing. Well, that is a very nice thing to say. It really is. Glad to be a new member. Found you on Aaron's channel, and both of you offer ways to survive from addictions. Thank you, Tommy, and family of the Lifeboat. Well, it's great to have you here, Annie. It really is. Welcome to the boat. Virginia says, Wages World brought me here. I remember that, Virginia. You may not believe that, but I actually remember. That would have been almost exactly 2 years ago right now, Virginia. You've been here A solid 2 years. I didn't have time to load up my Navage, or I would be doing it right now. I'm not even kidding you. Man, that thing is such a great machine. The nose machine. I don't know why I called it a Navage. It's called the nose machine. Tell me you don't love that. I don't know who. You know what? I don't even remember who to give credit to for that. Who said you should call it the nose machine? But I love that. I think that is the coolest thing ever. Zeno, I hope you're doing well. And ZW says, yep, Marf here. Yeah, ZW came over from Marfugal. Our friends at Marfugal News, Marfugal TV, and Marfugal Jams. You know, it's funny. I got like 3 emails last night from people who said that they wanted to tell me a little bit more about Discord servers and exactly what a Discord server is and what and how it could benefit us. And I'll tell you what, now that it has really truthfully been explained to me by people that really understand what it is, I'm so much more lost than I was. Like, for real. I didn't think I knew what Discord was or a Discord server was, but now that it's been explained to me, I'm so lost that, I don't want anything to do with it. It just sounds scary to me. Well, you know what? I'm glad that you stopped by too, Freezino. You've been a great crew right from Jump Street. Good comments, always part of the conversation. That's good stuff. Terry King says, that's who sent me, Marf. I love it. Marf also wrote our theme song. If you've ever been on one of those videos that plays the riding on the lifeboat, riding on the lifeboat. I love Adam and Dex. I really do. Really good guys, and they've always been very, very supportive of the channel and of what we do here. Terry King, hello. Good to see you. One moment, people. You're going to have to pardon me while since I cannot Navage, I'm going to be doing an improvised. All right. The booger brown thing has got me really nervous. With Lemmy and his booger brown. Oh no, see, I'm so paranoid. When you have a big mustache, I was like, oh no, don't let. And I'm on worldwide broadcast here. We good? All right. I think we're gonna be all right. Monk says Discord is too controlling, I think. I'll tell you what, people. I'm always open to anything that we can do. The Systroming video sent me here, says Crazy Cat. About a third of the entire audience came because of Systroming. That's been a statistic right from day one, actually. Kelly C says, Tommy, did you say you were going to DM's sentencing? Because I'm looking forward to your updates. Yeah, Kelly C, I wouldn't miss it. I have every intention of being there for 2 reasons. Number 1, I very much want to see the sentencing. And number 2, there's a person that I would like to run into while I'm in town. Somebody I'd like to have lunch with. Honestly, I don't know if they'll have lunch with me, but I'd like to have lunch with them, so we'll see what happens. But I'm going to be out there. I am definitely going to be out there. And it is good to see you this morning, Kelly C. It really is. I hope you're doing well. And people, I want to apologize. I really do. There's, if you've been on the boat for any length of time, Lemmy, you see, he did the booger brown thing. I'm telling you, it was done just to mess with me, is what it was. And now he's got me paranoid as hell, which just doesn't seem fair. But it's, hey, it's me, Terry. Good to see you. No idea, but I do want to have lunch with them, so we'll see. My husband called from Alaska. Christy, get out of here. Tell your husband we all said hello and have a great day. Yeah, there will be updates. Tell Alaska I say hi. See that? A lot of that going around. My teacher did have a similar mustache, and by that you mean a 1970s porn mustache. Go ahead, say it. I can take it. I can take it. I do need to knock it back a bit. If you've been on the boat for any length of time, you've probably noticed that when it gets to here, when it starts getting this big, I just Kelly, that's funny. That is really funny. Yes, I am going to the sentencing of Danny Masterson. I am absolutely going to the sentencing of Danny Masterson. I wouldn't miss it. I think that's a golden opportunity to have a hell of a lot of fun. And it's an opportunity for AA, Ron, and I to do a collab live, at least one. And I think people kind of want to see that anyway. So that's definitely something that we are looking at seriously. Oh, there you go. Sorry. Just in time. Hurry up. Come on. What are you doing? That looks painful. Come here. Come on. Okay. She doesn't want to. If I ignore her, she'll jump up here. Because when you want a cat to do something, they'll never do that. I'm looking forward to it, too. I really am. I'm very much looking forward to it. Oh, look what I got. I am Captain Tommy Scoville. And this is the star of the show. She's still trying to bite me. This is the star of the show, the cat in the basket. This is Squirrel. You ready? Let's show him, Squirrel. This is a cat in a basket. Squirrel, 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 squirrel. Yeah, it's the fur baby. All right, turn off the tune. Please don't sit on the. Please don't sit on it. Let's see here if we can save that. There we go. All right, people. We'll see you on the next one. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and that is Squirrel. Thanks, Squirrel. You're doing a great job. Can you maybe get off of this so that? Thanks, kitty. Just look. I'll let you sleep on it once I turn it off. All right. Just let me sleep. There you go. Now you can.